Welcome, marketing class, to Japanese Sushi with Chad.
Tonight we're also going to be making sushi, so as to prep for that, I'm going to go ahead and rinse my rice. What rinsing your rice does is it gets rid of some of the extra protein on the outside of the rice so that it can end up sticking together, or some of the starch off the outside of the rice, so that when you make it, it will stick together better and form better sushi rolls when you do that. So really you just put some water on it a couple of times and you end up just straining the water off until the water ends up running clear. And when it starts to run clear, it should be about normally 2 rinses. Then you'll know that you've gotten some of the starch off and that your sushi rice will be ready to go. Okay, now that we have rinsed our sushi rice, we're going to go ahead and get it into the pot, and that way we can get it onto the stove. We're going to do a 1-to-1 ratio, so it'll be 1 cup of water to 1 cup of rice. So we're going to put the water and the rice both into the pot. We'll then be putting it on the stove. We'll put it on high heat so that we can bring it to a full boil. After it has come to a boil, we will go ahead and reduce the heat, let it cook covered on the lowest setting for about 15 minutes. And that way all the water will get absorbed into the rice. So go ahead and bring this over to the stove and go ahead and just crank it up to high heat, and then we'll be back in a minute. After that starts to boil, we'll take it off and cover it. Currently the pot is sitting on the stove, covered, and it'll be there for about another 7 minutes, which then we will actually take it off of the low heat, which it is on now, and let it sit for another 10 minutes. So hopefully all the water will be good and absorbed at that point. Okay, we're now going to be making a vinegar mixture that will go over the sushi rice, which is just about all the way cooled. It'll be 2 tablespoons of sugar, 2 tablespoons of vinegar, and 1 tablespoon of salt. And then we'll be putting that in the microwave for about 30 seconds to heat up, and then we will be spreading it over the sushi rice, and that will help it all from sticking together. And then 2 tablespoons of vinegar. Okay, and after we do that in the microwave for about 45 seconds, it'll be ready to go. Okay, I've now transferred the sushi rice into a glass bowl, and I'm going to go ahead and pour some of the vinegar mixture over it and then mix that in with a wooden spoon. This, like I said, will help the rice from sticking completely together and getting mushy, but will also allow it to stick together just enough. It'll coat it just enough to make the sushi rice. Okay, so now that that is all mixed into the rice, it's not clumping, it's coating all of the rice, so that's good. And we're going to let that sit for about another hour so that it comes to a complete room temperature so that we can make our sushi. We're going to cover it with a paper towel during this process. It's going to be a wet paper towel to help keep some of the moisture. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and put the sushi together. The rice is cooled down to room temperature. We've also got cucumber sticks, avocado, crab meat, and some cream cheese to put in here. So obviously this is not the most authentic Japanese style sushi, but it's what we all find when we go out at any restaurant here in America. The technique is still relatively the same. You end up putting the sushi rice onto the back of a seaweed roll. I'm using gloves to help keep everything from sticking. One of the good things to do is to put a very thin layer on. If you get too thick of a layer, it ends up really just being a real thick, chunky roll that not a lot of people like. Now that the rice is all on there, and because I know my guests, I know that they prefer their rice on the outside, so we're going to go ahead and flip it upside down. This is going to be a mix between a California roll, a Philly roll, like I said, just very, very Americanized. And to spice this up a little bit, my guess is that our guest will be adding wasabi to her soy sauce, but to not do that to the roll, just to let her add the flavor that she wants, is probably the best route to go. So now that we have the roll pretty much stuffed, it's now time to start rolling it, and we'll use the mat to help us do that by just carefully rolling over and scrushing everything together as we go. And by slowly tightening across the way, then we end up coming up with a sushi roll. So now we'll go ahead and take the knife and cut that into pieces. Not going to be the best looking sushi in the world, but it will have all of the taste that any other sushi would. Okay, now that everything has been prepared, it is time to try and see what we think.
Really good. I can taste everything that's in there. The cream cheese makes it very creamy. You can definitely taste the crab. And the avocado and the cucumber gives it a little bit of crunch. Good job.
Konnichiwa. Hello, marketing class. Thanks for joining me in the preparation of the Japanese sushi. I'm now going to take some time to go through some Japanese phrases that might help get you by when traveling in Japan or doing business in Japan. Watashi wa Amerika jin desu. Amari Nihonga ga hanasemasen. Li restauranten wa doku ni arimasuka. Sumimasen menu o onigashimasu. Okanjo o onogamashimasu. Mizu o moti kite kudasi koyo desu. Wa nihongo denan tojimasu. Interneto wa doku desu ka? Koze tusumi o sokatasu de onurakati de nedzusuka. Dorobo ni amishita? Sayonara.